Hey.
What's up, everybody, man? Welcome back. Welcome to the Man Cave Experience with myself, Cedric Edison, and this wonderful dude I get to call my friend, amazing man in the world, Ron Servant. What up, dog?
Man, we were so kind of on back on target as far as our weekly podcast. But last week we had kind of a lull. Neither one of us were feeling great, and kind of honored that. But just feeling as always, just great to be in the space, knowing that you and I in our life trying to create opportunities for us to be the best possible versions of ourselves. Two men from two different walks of life. 2 years ago, or I guess right around 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, didn't even know each other. And here we are, on this channel. I think we're up to like episode 48, 49, something like that. And just feeling so honored that I'm able to share this space with you. But super honored to have an amazing guest that I'll let Cedric introduce. But just great to be here. Just great to have anybody out there that listens in. I know we really do our best to give you the best product, and by you showing up, that just gives us that pleasure of serving you as men in the world, trying to move forward in our lives and just be the best, again, versions of ourselves. So great to be here.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure, man. I just got this good energy, man, going on. This good energy. Guys, man, we got a special treat. We try and switch it up every now and then, and we're constantly reaching out, trying to find, just some awesome people out here in the world to come on and be able to share their gifts, their knowledge, the stuff that's on their brain. And I was blessed with the opportunity. Ron and we were blessed. Right, as a matter of fact, the same time frame we came up with the creation. I think we were in Dallas, and I can remember just seeing this cool cat just walking through the building, and man, he had this badass hat on, and I was just like, all right. And I'll be honest, something outside of his, because I did notice some physical limitations there, and but I remember like just looking like, man, there's something about this dude. And time passed, and then we come out of a breakout session, and the same dude that I saw earlier, I think it was the day before, just comes up and just introduces himself. And it was just this calm interaction, man. It was just a beautiful energy, a beautiful exchange, authentic, man. And me and this cat, we keep in touch now, and his name is Jason Chaussee. And man, let me just tell y'all a little bit about this cat, man. So Jason really is an accomplished holistic trauma expert, a certified master transformational coach, and a successful spiritual teacher, guys. His teachings are based on extensive studies and his own life experiences. His special gift was received through a traumatic brain injury, a TBI, at the age of 2.5, which resulted in a 25-day coma. Now, since awakening with seizures, Jason has experienced life differently. In spite of his physical limitation, he has been able to research and apply a full body approach to his own healing. His spiritual teaching, energy work has transformed many lives, teaching individuals to find different ways to heal their own mind, body, and soul. Most people who have had traumatic events are unsure how to thrive in life, the truth of trauma, to learn to understand it as a special gift to thrive with and not to die from. Thought I would just read that, man, just some words about this cat, man. I know, right? Just shooting some love, man. Like, mind-blowing. And just knowing this dude's story, my spirit just felt compelled to reach out to him and just say, hey, man, what's up? and offer him an opportunity to come into the man cave tonight. And it's kind of interesting, hearing his story about the 2.5, he was 2.5 years old. He was young when he experienced trauma. You guys, returning listeners, you guys know about Ron and his trauma that he experienced when he was a child, and his friend, just playing childhood games, and all of my trauma with the heart surgery and all of that. So it's pretty serendipitous that we all end up here and we're all men in this space that's created for men, but not only for men, but for the world. But we are men that talk about subjects that men normally wouldn't talk about. And while we have the opportunity here, man, before we jump in, I just want to let you guys know we'll be talking about trauma and triumph. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm going to let this brother talk about it. So, man, Jason, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the Man Cave. Keep the hat on. I would say you take your hat off, kick your feet up, chill, but hey, do you, baby.
I appreciate that, man. Well, the truth of trauma is something that not everybody wants to talk about. It's a scary fucking true story. And you guys have shared your truth about trauma for you. And like you said, a lot of people are scared of it. They feel as if they're dying from. Sometimes there's not a lot of hope and not a lot of sacred space where people can come to and be real and authentic about it. Me having a physical, what they consider a physical disability, where I have one leg longer than the other, where education systems weren't always my best ally, I found that my triumph was actually being my true authentic self. Kind of like one of Albert Einstein's statements. If you judge a fish's ability to climb a tree, you're not setting yourself up for success. And the truth be, with trauma, are you looking at it from what point of perspective to be successful? The monkey or the fish for being able to climb a tree? And realistically, when you find your own situations and surroundings, have a support system to be able to where you can thrive in life is very different versus surrounding yourself with negative people, or what I call soul suckers, vampires people. Like this space here. This is about really encouraging open conversations and being real, raw, and true with it, and having that type of sacred space.
Man, we appreciate you joining in on this, man. And you're right, man. And that's something me and Ron talk about, and especially in our field, and you're in our field, where it's something you are absolutely right that's really not talked about.
Right.
Trauma and just sensitive topics in general. And man, that's why I love the work you're doing. Helping people through traumatic experiences. It's a beautiful thing, man. Man, tell us a little bit, like, coaching, like, man, being a spiritual leader, how did that even come about for you, man?
Well, I tried to work a normal job. I did, tried to go to corporate, and it just made me literally go almost batshit crazy, because every company I worked for got bought out, or they lost the company or died. My last 4 positions were the same way. And I've been asking the universe, I really want to be able to do this. And the universe was just showing me, okay, slow down. Pay attention to the signs that we're giving you. And I'm like, no, I got it. I'm going to figure it out myself. And then I finally got off of the cocky pride syndrome of just stepping back and really allowing the universe to bless me, co-create with me. And so with that, I've been able to do my practice, my walking with people's journeys fully now. And it's magical to be able to work with other people. But my objective is this. This is very important to me. I don't work because I work in the spiritual realm. I work with the effects that I never get to see. The ripple effects that I never get to ever experience with my clients that I serve. That's what I love to do.
Wow. Wow.
And I think what I was, when I was hearing you, when I heard Cedric do the introduction, and you kind of now not re-experiencing, but just kind of looking back on time when I went through that early childhood trauma, and it wasn't, I mean, it was trauma that I actually witnessed and experienced, and how that traumatized me, not as the recipient. So it was a burn, it was a fire situation where a young boy was critically burned to the point where he almost died. And when so time went on, right? Things kind of moved forward, and we moved on in our lives. We kind of came across each other from time to time, but later in life, this was maybe 2-3 years ago, I found through Facebook that he had, I don't think he started it, but he was very much involved in a burn foundation, and just how his awareness and moving forward in his life, that something that happened to him resulted in just something that he was able to inspire others, and to create something new out of an experience that was very unfortunate, that he obviously wouldn't never want to wish upon anybody else. So I'm curious for you, Jason, when you now look at your life, and when you first meet somebody and they look at you and say, kind of like what Cedric said, he first saw you had something physically that was a challenge for you, and unfortunately, I think there's still that inability for humans to look past that initially, to feel sorry for you, or to kind of feel like what you can't do versus what you can do. How do you, as a coach, kind of tap into that early on, especially if you're in a one-on-one coaching relationship with somebody that's in your presence that doesn't know you? How do you really create that space where whatever that trauma might be, because trauma could come into our life in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be a brain injury. It doesn't have to be a burn victim. It could just be mental abuse. It could be all these things that don't show up in a physical way, but yet something that challenges us to really step forward in our life and be real with that. So I'm just curious, how, if you've had that situation where others are in your presence, how do you I guess navigate, or do you feel like you need to navigate in the situations to really let people into your life as you are today?
Very good question. And I usually address it as, this is one of my greatest gifts that has happened to me in my life. And then I explain the story. So I set it up, stating the fact that this is a gift. And then usually some people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, whoa, hold on. It's my greatest gift. And if you want to give attention to that, then let's pay attention to the gift part. Because at that age and time, it was very likely that I should have died. Throughout my story of my life, there's many times, as in all of us, where we probably should have been dead, but for some weird, blessed reason, we're still here. So I don't want to always let them focus too long on the negativity. It's always trying to shift that to the realm of understanding the gift of the blessing of what had happened or has happened, and being able to work with that energy of emotion, feeling, expectation, belief systems to be more triumphant in your own life. Now, real quick, let me say this. One thing, though, is that sometimes you have to stay in that emotional negative place for a period of time before you can move forward. Sometimes you have to incubate, stay there for a little bit, and then process all the way out. Because a lot of people tell you otherwise. My personal opinion is sometimes you got to live in the shit a little bit to be able to move forward, find out what you really want. I apologize, Ron.
That's okay. That's okay. I was just thinking as you're saying that the default seems to be people want to show you compassion in some various way to, hopefully make you feel better. And I think that's the challenge, right? Is we go into it thinking that this is what this person needs, and not even be open to, what comes out of just the question of, what can I do to help? Or how can I serve you? Or, just creating just an initial connection with an individual that goes above and beyond anything that's physically related or mentally related, as far as just the connection we're willing to put ourselves into an individual. And I think when we kind of expand it to where, we're trying to be in control of the situation by showing compassion versus just being in that moment with an individual and letting them open up, to that. I think that's what I have found with, kind of what I've gone through in my life, and just kind of re-experiencing that through some processes that really allowed me to forgive myself, because I had a lot of guilt and shame and blame on myself on something that I did that it was only as a response to being in that situation. So that took me a lot of time to really let go of something that I felt responsible for, which can hold us back, right? Because we feel like there's something we want to do to get rid of it, especially as men, right? We want to be done with it. We want to end it. We want to put that period at the end of the sentence. We want to do all these things to move away from the uncertainty or the, just the things that come up in life that don't feel comfortable. And I think that's our growth, right? As men, as coaches, as fathers, as spiritual beings on this earth, is to just connect with that simple moment and allowing those feelings, like you're saying, come up and really just sit in those, allow ourselves to, understand the feelings, not just get caught up in the experience, but just those feelings in themselves can really teach and show us a lot of things about ourselves.
Well, like one of the episodes that you had quite recently, we're taught not to show emotions.
Yeah.
Then of our age bracket, it's not okay to show weakness. You're a pussy if you do. Straight up.
Better not.
Huh?
You better not. Like,
no, you're not. No, you're not supposed to. It's if you know what the understanding of the verbiage point of an OG status, you're not allowed to show that type of emotion, because then you're weakness.
Right.
And realistically, I don't care if you're a woman or a man or anything else, you're a human being. And sometimes you need to be able to express those emotions. And that's why self-love is so important, that a lot of, specifically men, women, children, everybody, skip that step. And just like you said, Ron, for how to connect with yourself and loving yourself for that situation and taking the time to process that and then move forward with it, that's magical.
Yeah.
Hey, because, I totally get where y'all coming from. And I'll be the first, man. You have to own your shit, own your crazy.
Right.
Like Sean Stevenson said. And sometimes you do have to endure the storm in order to see the rainbow.
Correct.
Now, I've gone through school to become a coach, and we all come through HCI, but I'm kind of, I guess I'll be the advocate for those that it makes sense because they can understand the words. They can understand the words coming out. But they like, what? What do you mean? Love yourself. Like, what do you mean own your shit? And I guess, like, since we got you here, you the man, like, this is your forte. And Ron, too, what would be some beginner ways for people to start that process, to start that healing process, to start to own that crazy?
Ron?
I think for me, it's just my willingness to, accept all of the things that have happened, knowing that I was doing the best that I could, at that time based on my own experience, and not judging myself because I could have, should have, would have done something differently, versus just taking that step back and just acknowledging the fact that I have some areas that maybe I'm not, at where I want to be in my life, and just letting go of the judgment of that, not thinking that there's opportunity to grow and learn from those experiences. So for me, it's just that softness about my existence, that caring about myself, that openness to all these feelings that come to the surface, and just acknowledgement of those, and not try to, especially as a man, to think I'm lesser than, because I have a son, a 14-year-old son. So, I want him. Well, I don't want him. I'm trying to do the best things I can as a father. So I create a learning experience for him to be able to share his feelings and experience life in a much different way than I did. And not as a judgment. I mean, I love my life, and I'm at where I'm at today because of all the experiences I've had. But if I can, by example, just be the man, the feeling, authentic, vulnerable man that I really aspire to be, obviously that keeps me on my path of openness and growth, but it also just creates a beautiful space for, a young boy that's venturing out into a much different world than I ever did. And just trusting that that's my purpose. It's not just about me. It's about so many other things that are around me and in my life that moves me away from feeling like this ego-driven man that's got to check all these boxes and be this, this certain thing that others want to see versus just being who I am.
All right, cool. Jake?
Thank you for that, Ron. That was some epic real shit. So thank you for that. For me personally, self-love is, to be honest, my opinion would be simple. You're your own guru. So taking time to develop your own self-care action plan for yourself on a day-to-day basis is very, very, very empowering. Not somebody else's, yours. Taking time to find out if you really want to go for just a 5-minute walk outside to connect with Earth, to be able to have a 3 to 5 minute meditation for yourself to listen to and go do. Just simple, little practices that you can implement to be able to find your own truth of self in your own self-love without losing your mind or making you feel like you're fucking going crazy.
I'm going to jump in real quick because I love the fact you said that, because I think when somebody asks me or try to at least share with others about what meditation means for me, because I've been a daily meditator since 2011, haven't missed a day. So for me, it just boils down to just spending time with that energetic part of yourself at any point of your day. So who is anybody to say that that's not a beautiful thing to aspire to create in their life? And I love the fact that you just started just that simplicity of setting that intention and creating a practice that's within everybody's wheelhouse to do that. So you, the listener, that maybe listening in, wondering what steps you can take, close your eyes, spend some time and just experience life differently than just this external, video camera that we put so much value on, versus just a little bit of time closing your eyes, that things obviously change much quicker. So,
yeah, man, I appreciate both of y'all's answers. And man, Jason, you just validated something that entered my spirit a couple days ago, man. And how it hit me, I was just on Facebook and I saw some old class, what do you call it? Pictures from when you were in high school.
Right.
The yearbook. I'm old, y'all. I forget what they call. I'm getting that. It's been over 20 years. But and so but it started making me reminisce, and I was thinking about when I was cutting class. And it just hit me like, man, even in my own life, sometimes I need to stop skipping class, because you say we're our own guru and we have to learn ourselves, and our body is like the institution that holds it all. Right. We talk about the big five, the finance, the spiritual, everything. And we see these dark areas in our life, just like when we were at school. If you didn't skip class, you probably knew somebody that did. And I was a class skipper, and a lot of it either boiled down to it was some area or some aspect of that class that I just did not want to face. Either the teacher was mean, or I just thought the subject was boring, or something else just had my attention more than what was going on in the class at that given time. And so that kind of relates to our life, like, man, I would offer to you guys, to the listeners, don't skip class. Find, and you may not be able to start going to all the classes right now. Just like the kid in school. I had to start somewhere, but pick one that's not that bad. You have a favorite subject or one that you might not mind and you can do better in, and pick that one. And for that one thing, I'm starting to understand this writing thing, this journaling thing. And to this day, I'm writing my notes and all of that stuff in cursive because of Jason.
Wonderful.
He got some powerful stuff, man, just by writing in cursive, man. Like, this dude is, yeah. But, and even if you're not a writer, I don't consider myself to be one, but just write down whatever it is about that situation, all the bad and all the good. And sometimes you might have to spend 10, 15 minutes trying to figure out what was good about this. And it might just be, I'm alive.
Right.
You know? But that was just something that you validated for me, man. And I just had to put that out there and just stop skipping school. Stop skipping class. Go to class.
Yeah, I think, Sed, you just, kind of brought up an even more interesting point about, just our expression, right? I mean, if we you're doing more things, and Jason's doing more things to take it to the next level, but, the listeners out there or people that in the listeners, lives, just this willingness to share, because we keep all these things bottled up inside of us, and especially as men, the men that may be listening in, I mean, who in your life are you surrounding yourself with to be able to share some of these thoughts that we've talked about or that intrigue you, and just putting it out there? Because I think those are the things that are those little simple steps you can move forward to maybe open up somebody else to give you some insight, or for you to then help another individual to move forward. And I think that's hopefully everyone's goal or aspiration or intention in life, is to move forward, to become better, to do something that's taken us to a better place than we were the second before we made that intention. And I think that's that flow of life that we need to be willing to be open to. And all three of us, are hard working at that, but, I'd be the first to raise my hand. I've still got a long ways to go. And I don't feel like I'm ever going to feel like, okay, I've got it. I'm there. I'm enlightened. I've got all these, things about myself that I can just, hang my hat on. It's like, no. Right now, if you do the new standard, and I'm going to continue to push up from there.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
You are enlightened. Okay. Here's my take. You are a human being. If you weren't meant to be, you wouldn't be being.
Yeah. I like that.
That's thinking for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I guess enlightenment in a way where I think individuals that may be listening think of as like this state of perfectness. Like, I'm just sitting at home, spending my day, levitating and meditating all day, having no thoughts, and just this pure white light around me,
floating in the clouds.
Well, may I speak?
Yes.
So the level of enlightenment, in my opinion, that people want to get to is free beer tomorrow.
Elaborate.
Okay, so free beer tomorrow. I remember when I went to Mexico and I went to a bar and they had a big sign that said free beer tomorrow. So it's kind of setting yourself for an expectation of levitation or free beer tomorrow, which free beer tomorrow never comes.
Right.
So if you really look at it from the standpoint of being you and allowing yourself to have that moment of the self-love, of the self-care, whatever you want to be loving with or allowing with or co-create with has a better way of coming into your life.
I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
So Jason, I was just thinking about, as you sit here today, because obviously you're working hard in your life, you got these amazing things happening for you, around you, to you. What is your biggest challenge as you sit here today as a man in the world that you can share with us in the audience to know that there's continued efforts on your behalf to move forward in an area that you're struggling with?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking it. One of the things that I have had trouble with in the past, and still even to this day, is allow. Let me elaborate. We're taught to, as macho men, make shit happen.
Right.
Go do this, get the result. Go do this, get the result. And realistically, I found that in the allowing process of taking care of yourself and allowing things to happen with you and for you, not against you or to you, that allowing flow of the energy, frequency, and vibration, Albert Einstein, of allowing that to work with you instead of against you. And I'll be fucking real, okay? Sometimes I live in my brain, and sometimes I go to war against myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's truth.
Okay.
True.
And I do the same. I try to use the, just the understanding of how close my brain and my heart are, yet I'm more sometimes willing to process and listen to my brain versus that quick shift of energy to the heart, how that, kind of creates a much more happier and much more fulfilling experience. And yet, the default or habit that is, something I continue to work on is just, that awareness, right? Awareness where that energy is, and being willing to be real with that to the point where, those shifts can happen. I think it's just that willingness to identify it, understand the negative consequences that are happening because of that, and then also the beautiful things that can happen as you allow that energy to move in the body where it's necessary and more nourishing.
Yeah.
But Ron, you hit the nail on the head there. You're choosing to not live in autopilot.
Yeah.
So I mean, for that right there, brother, that's a huge conscious shift.
Yeah.
Because most people want to bitch, moan, and complain about living in autopilot, and never even realize consciously that that's where they're residing. That's where they're investing in their mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, realistic.
Right. Yeah. And I know Seth and I'll let you talk, Seth. We had a conversation a while back about just the whole coin phrase of, that's life. It's like bullshit. That's not life.
Yeah.
You're making that to be your default answer to just, carry on the way you have for the previous years of your life versus no. I mean, so that's where I think, as us as men, you in the audience, we have to create opportunities for that shift to happen. It's not going to just happen. If you're on autopilot, your life is going to be predetermined, but if you get off your ass and do something, even subtle steps, like I said, even if that's that man that you're talking to right now, that's giving you something that's not nourishing your growth. I mean, surround yourself with the people that are going to allow it to happen. Not that you can't have maybe that same person as a different type of friend. Maybe it's your drinking friend, maybe it's your sports guy, those types of things. Like we have different people in our lives that give us the opportunity to grow. So who in your life is giving you, again, especially as a man, and there may be women listening right now that have that man in their life that they may be struggling with, just to understand as a man, speaking to you, these are the struggles we go through. We don't oftentimes feel like we need to seek out a man that may have a similar mindset as us because, we were all saying earlier that then we're pussies or we're lesser than, or we're connected to our feminine side. But yeah, I am. I have those feminine energies. I'm okay with the fact that I do at times kind of have that same type of tendency to be, that free-flowing tornado, emotions and all those things that go along with the feminine energy. So, sorry, Seth.
Oh, no, you good, bro. I was just thinking, like, man, and to piggyback on what you just said, like, to the listeners, one, I think, like, the writing is really important in the beginning process. And yes, it's very, very, very imperative that you recognize if you in autopilot. And when you are, because this guy right here, I just realized that actually today and reached out and had to get a recalibration call with my accountability partner. And it just happens that way. But find some, and Rom's right, find somebody to talk to. And if you can't find somebody, write it down. And I'll be honest, like, right now, sometimes I'm at home alone and all I have is my 8-month-old. I tell him, but I just get it out. I have to get it out because I understand that we've been raised and programmed to keep it in. So by any means, I have to let that energy out. If it's me telling it to my son or phoning a friend or on this platform, get it out, or writing, get it out, because it could save your life on the health side. It's going to lower stress and all of that good stuff. On the meditation and the vibe side, it's going to send out vibrations. On the spiritual side, it's just so good for you. Just so good for you.
So Jason, I'm curious, because we're kind of getting low on time here, but if you were to run into somebody, say you ran into yourself, you know, exact same person as you may have been 10 years ago, and you were to give your old self just that one insightful thing about what they need to consider at that point in their life. I'm just curious what that might be, just knowing that you've made so many huge strides in your life, just what nugget you might deliver to that same you 10 years ago that would be something insightful that might benefit them.
Slow down. Excuse me. Slow down and enjoy the journey.
Mm.
Wow. Because
so simple, right? Just such a simple message, and I think that's what, you know, we really try to, you know, encourage you, the listener, to, you know, as you listen to these, you know, episodes we put out there. Some may resonate with you, some may not, but just to be open to, just, you know, because the whole thing comes up in our minds is like life gets faster as we get older. You know, another fallacy. That's not true. Time is time, right? Or what is time? I mean, there's that whole conversation we have about what time is and what, you know, how much value we put on that and how that could be a, you know, negative or positive impact in our life. But, you know, what is your process to slow yourself down? You know, to where you can enjoy the moment, where you can experience, you know, life as it unfolds, not feel like you need to check the boxes. You know, being willing to not. It's interesting. I was listening to a meditation the other day, and they were talking about, you know, the whole adage of stop and smell the rose. You know, stop and you know sniff a flower, or stop and watch a bird. Then what came up was, why not be the gardener that always smells the roses? You know, instead of just that one time a day where you're taking in something that brings you closer to the present moment awareness, why not be that? Why not be willing and open to experiencing every moment as it unfolds? And it's something that's available. I think when we are able to understand that we're offering our book as we spend every moment of our life, and realize that next action, that next breath, that next step that we take in our life is up to us. You know, we're in control. You know, we're going to write that beautiful next chapter in our life. So I just want to take time to just truly appreciate Jason's openness to stepping here in the cave. I know, and I mentioned this before you know, at the very beginning, that there's going to be an open seat for him, and that's a no-brainer for us. So expect to see Jason coming back in, leading the conversation, participating, you know, in other topics that we bring up. I think just for you to, you know, kind of be open to all the different things that come up, you know, when we have created this show, and just your willingness to flow with that, knowing that, you know, you're aspiring to be this amazing coach, you're an amazing father, you know, all these things that you've, you know, kind of gone through. I know I've thrown out there before, but every time that I think every time that I have this experience with you, whether it's in person or on this channel, I truly appreciate just what you bring to my life, and you, the listener, just your willingness to do something in your life by listening in, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of your day to this podcast or this episode, knowing that there's an opportunity for you to maybe learn something from, or to share with somebody else, you know, that may learn something from that about themselves. I honor you, because we're not, you know, again, we're just two men. I wouldn't say, I know Cedric sometimes says we're two ordinary men. I wouldn't say we're ordinary men. I think we're pretty freaking awesome men. Just sharing who we are, and just giving some insight and some thoughts on our own experiences. And whatever happens out of that is out of our control, but I love the fact that we're able to connect here on this channel, and I love each and every one of you, and I love you too, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Jason. Man, appreciate you, Ron. Man, just our AV guy. Created the show. But I can't let you go, Jason. I have one last question for you, man.
Okay.
And this will be the first time I asked anybody that on the show this year.
All right, let's do it.
So space not an option. I mean, not a limit. What would your tombstone read? Anything can go on your tombstone.
Be raw, be real, be true, be you.
Wow. And there y'all have it, folks. Man, Jason Chaussee, man, greatly appreciate you blocking out some time to come and share this space with us, man. Share your insights. Standing invitation, for real. You always welcome in the cave, man. Wow. Love you guys. Love the space. Love y'all for listening. Wow.
So the stage is yours, Jace. You can close this out and say your goodbyes.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I really want to say thank you for allowing me to have this honor and privilege of coming on your show. I do have a special gift for your epic listeners, and also for Ron and Cedric. I have a little something special for you guys, so I'll be sending that to you soon. But it's actually going to be a 3-minute and 55-second meditation is what I have to provide to your listeners. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. Okay. And self-care is self-love. So take time for you just to embrace your own understanding of what that means for whoever's listening and for yourself.
Wow. Man, greatly appreciate it. Much gratitude. Thank you for the gift. Thank you to the gift to our listeners. Wow. It's been an amazing show, fellas. Now, I almost don't want to end. I would just want to keep chopping it up, man. Like, wow. But,
So, Jason, so the listeners know, are we going to want to create like a little opportunity for you to like do a Zoom call and post that in our channel, or how would you like us to get that to the listeners?
Well, they can click onto my website, which is www.lanternslighthealing.com. Lanterns, that's plural. And they can go on there. It'll be freebie accessed next week for them to be able to access that. If you'd like to have a scheduled breakthrough session with me for discovering you or through self-love, self-empowerment, you'd actually also go to the www.lanternslighthealing.com and schedule an appointment there.
Awesome. And we'll drop a link in our posting on Facebook and include that for the listeners as well. So.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Well, you men keep being the amazing men that you are, and I appreciate so much what you do for me. And you're just scratching the surface. Just so much more to come for all of us.
Yes, very much so. I really do humbly appreciate you two gentlemen for holding this sacred space for me, and I look forward to coming back very soon.
Awesome. All right, man. Good night, everybody. Man, love y'all. Namaste.
Namaste.
I've been grinding, face my fist now.